Pro wrestling is a creative business, but the truth about creativity is that every idea isn't gonna pan out. Shawn Michaels can have the coolest tights design of all time, but when he branches out and tries Poop Brown, not so good. Undertaker had been our goth badass for a decade of destruction when he tried this snakeskin disaster. And that's without getting into the time someone thought, I bet airbrushed muscles would be a good look. I'm Senior Siete for 7 Wrestling. Let's take a look at 7 outfits that got wrestlers into trouble. Oh wait, holy crap, we have hit 25,000 subscribers. I know that pales in comparison to the Johnny Beasts of the world, but to us it's a big deal. And if you've been here since day one-ish, or if you're new here, just know that we truly appreciate your support. We started this channel at kind of a dark time, and your likes and comments truly mean the world to me. So, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, Canadian destroy that notification bell. Also, we have got merch. Show the world that you're a part of the brotherhood, even if you're a sister, with some of our snazzy apparel, stickers, and other business. Number 1. Rey's Marvelous Gear. Rey Mysterio revolutionized pro wrestling by defining what it meant to be a top star despite a smaller stature. At a time when the industry was dominated by larger-than-life heavyweights, Mysterio proved that speed, agility, and high-flying athleticism could be just as impactful as brute strength. His innovative lucha libre style, which blended breathtaking aerial maneuvers with technical mastery, helped popularize cruiserweight wrestling in the United States. His performances showcased a level of athleticism rarely seen in mainstream American wrestling at the time, inspiring a generation of smaller wrestlers to believe that they could succeed on the biggest stage. But contrary to what people have you believe now, when he showed up in ECW, they just thought he was another dork in a mask. In fact, until Rey blew the ECW arena away with some lucha libre brilliance, a large portion of the audience was chanting Power Ranger at him. Power Ranger? That's way off. Look at his gear. It's clearly a Superman logo. And if that was just some random shape designed to fit a question mark, well, there was no denying what he was going for when he showed up in this outfit. Over the years, Rey's comic book-inspired gear would get more and more elaborate, even wearing a full Phantom bodysuit for the biggest match of his career up to that point, the amazing mask versus title match against Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 97. Slam Evil! You know, whatever that means. Actually, that's pretty relevant for wrestling. And when he made his jump to the WWE, they just got more and more elaborate. We've got Daredevil at WrestleMania 19, The Flash at WrestleMania 20, The Joker at WrestleMania 25. He'd do some cool stuff on the indies like this Wolverine attire, and, you know, they weren't all winners. He looked less like the Joker and more like Dink at Survivor Series 2019, and this Silver Surfer tribute had him looking more like a lucha hood ornament. But where have the cool cosplays been recently? Well, in an interview with Adrian Hernandez, Mysterio would say, actually, WWE had to shut me down for a minute because I was getting too exaggerated. I was like, it's my logo, I'm just using their colors. Maybe Captain America, maybe a star here, the gloves. They told me, maybe you've got to stop a little bit because we're getting cease and desist letters. Boo! Boo! No fun. Man, now I'm never going to get a Rocket Raccoon Rey Mysterio. Number 2, feeling blue. Speaking of Marvel, often you'll hear people say that no new movies are being made. Everything's a sequel, a prequel, a threequel. Threequel's not a word. Or it's some existing IP. Let's make a Super Mario Brothers movie. Let's make a Battleship movie. Surely somewhere a Cheetos movie is in development, and anything that's just like a movie without some built-in fan base just dies. Great example of that was 2014's Edge of Tomorrow. Basically, it's like if Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt made Groundhog's Day, but instead it was like an action film. I loved it. Critics largely loved it. The box office was pretty meh, just a great example of a good action movie that was made without the safety net of an existing IP, and it didn't do particularly well. And so why are we talking about this? Good question. Well, another 2014 movie that came out and did do well was a little flick called Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I know what you're thinking, Siete, that's a Marvel movie, it's totally an existing IP. Yes, it does, but does it really count when it's an IP that 99% of the viewing public is unfamiliar with. Ask a 2013 audience if they know who Star-Lord or Gamora or Groot are, and odds are they're going to come up blank. And it's not like the movie had big names. The star of the whole show was best known for being the chubby comic relief on Parks and Recreation. You've got 2 CGI characters, the ridiculously hot Zoe Saldana had to wear green paint. Great! Now I've got a green lady fetish. Thanks a lot, Marvel. Also, a wrestler that most people had never heard of unless they were WWE fans. All it had going for it outside of the merits of the film itself was a loose tie-in to the wildly successful Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, it ended up being a mega hit because it is awesome. Too bad the lead up to it pretty much broke poor Batista's heart. Think about it. You're poor Batista on the precipice of the movie that is not a slam dunk, but it could make your film career if the public can bring themselves to care about a talking tree and a talking raccoon. The plan was simple. The popular star Batista would return to the WWE in the lead up to the Guardians release, win the Royal Rumble, and defeat his former Evolution buddy Randy Orton at WrestleMania, all to the rousing cheers of a rabid fan base loving the second coming of Batista Mania, which is a wonderful plan, if the fan base wasn't already absolutely in love with Daniel Bryan. Batista would win that Rumble to the sound of deafening boos. His every appearance between that Rumble win and Mania was so the opposite of the intended reaction that they had no choice but to turn him heel. When it was all said and done, Daniel Bryan was inserted into the main event title match and left as arguably the most over good guy of his generation. The pivot wasn't bad creatively. From there, Batista, Orton, and Triple H reformed Evolution and squared off against The Shield in a series of awesome matches. I'd even go so far to say that these bouts cemented the legacy of The Shield as a threesome that they still get so much mileage out of today, and it all led to an Evolution versus Shield no-holds-barred elimination bout at Payback 2014. This match was notable for 3 reasons. 1, the Shield won in a clean sweep. 2, it would be the last time the Shield would perform together before Seth Rollins would famously turn on the group. And the third thing, of course, Bluetista. That being the fan-given nickname for the outfit Batista wore that night: blue tights, blue knee pads, blue boots, and blue arm thingers. Maybe this was his nod to the Na'vi. Oh, there's another bad Rey Mysterio outfit. At any rate, the fans really let him have it, like he was wearing a Love Burger shirt at his own concert. Bluetista trended on Twitter, and the memes, oh, so many memes. On Twitter, Batista would respond saying, 6 men go to war and beat the shit out of each other, and what did the genius Marks walk away with? Batista wore blue. What a loser. He'd leave the company the night after Payback, probably very demoralized. Fortunately, Guardians of the Galaxy was a mega hit that helped launch his movie career. And like we said earlier, maybe we can all just be happy that an original act was wildly successful over a sequel. Yeah, but that outfit, he blew it. Blew it. Number 3, Stars and Gripes. Unfortunately, it seems like the classic Survivor Series match has fallen out of favor due to the rise of the War Games, which is a shame because there were some amazing teams over the years. Who's your favorite? Put your answer in the comment section below, and I'm not counting the all-star teams like the WWE versus Alliance match at Survivor Series 2001, or when they would do like a straight-up Raw versus SmackDown match. No. Well, I'll throw out a couple easy ones for you. 1990, you had the Ultimate Warrior, Kerry Von Erich, and the friggin' Legion of Doom. Awesome. 89, you had the Hulkster Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Demolition. Odd pairing. Or quartet, odd quartetting. Anyway, awesome. 2006 brought us the team of DX with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, teaming up with the Hardy Boys and a recently debuting CM Punk. They rightfully swept the team of Edge, Randy Orton, Mike Knox, Shane Helms, and Johnny Nitro Morrison TV. Also, wow, Punk would go on to hate everyone on his team, and then, make up with a few of them. And how's this for a dark horse? In 1993, you've got Lex Luger, the Steiner Brothers, and Tatanka. Not doing it for you? All right. How about this? We get rid of Tatanka and replace him with, The Undertaker. Yes, thank you, Ludwig Borga, for that. Maybe the only thing he should ever be thanked for. Now, this was all a storyline, of course, and with Tonka knocked out, the dead man showed his star-spangled spirit by showing that the lining of his creepy Undertaker coat was, in fact, Old Glory. Oh, just like Betsy Ross intended. But the Undertaker absolutely hated this tweak to his trademark look. In his 6 Feet Under podcast, he'd say, Vince had the bright idea of, on the inside of my coat, the Steiners and Lex with the Lex Express and all red, white, and blue. We were wrestling the Mountie and a bunch of people from Canada and other places. I come out, they introduce me, our partner's the Undertaker. I come out, I cut this promo that you can tell I'm grinding my teeth through. At the end of it, I open up my coat, and it's the original Betsy Ross 13 colony flag. It's got the circle. I wasn't feeling it. It was nowhere close to my character. I was choking every word out and was so mad. Who knows? It may have been the precursor to the American Badass. It meant a lot more carrying the flag out as the American Badass than the Undertaker and Betsy Ross's original 13 colony flag. I was so pissed off about that. He'd go on the WWE's bump and have this to say as well. Believe me, I'm as big a patriot as will come down the road. I do a lot of work with our veterans and our first responders, but when Vince presented that to me, I was like, there is no way in heck I'm going to walk out there and open my coat with that flag. I was livid. I was like, this is not what The Undertaker does. Hey, come on, relax. It's not any more out of character than, I don't know, doing a cameo, appearing at a press conference, accepting a friggin' slammy. Number 4, Hulkster helmet. Look, I'll admit it, I was a Hulkamaniac back in the day, but now, looking back, it's, there was a very high cheese factor in the Hulkster act. Everything about Hogan was over the top, from his ripped yellow and red gear to his insane ability to Hulk up after taking a beating, shaking his fist like he's summoning the power of Hulkamania. And let's not forget his famous Python power, referring to his massive 24-inch biceps, which he flexed at every opportunity. With his larger-than-life persona, his booming voice preaching about training, saying your prayers and taking your vitamins, and his absurdly dramatic promos, Hogan was the ultimate superhero for kids that Vince McMahon was hoping to market his wares to. Honestly, it was part self-help seminar, part Saturday morning cartoon energy, but it worked. Kids and adults alike ate it up. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a pop culture phenomena, crossing over into movies, cartoons, even a brief run as a rock star, or he would have us believe. Hogan was as corny as they came, but his brand of cheesiness was precisely what made him unforgettable. But not everything that the Hulkster touched during that era turned to gold. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Hulk Hogan War Bonnet, a bizarre plastic gladiator helmet with a giant fist attached to the front. Actually, now that I get a good look at this photo, the Hulkster has all kinds of weird pieces of flair here. He's got a license plate, he's got a gas tank that it seems like he's drinking from with a giant bendy straw. That's a lot to take in, honestly. But what was the purpose? Well, the hope was that Hogan could turn this bizarre headgear into the must-have Christmas gift for the 1988 holiday season. He wore it on house shows against names such as Ted DiBiase, King Haku, and Bad News Brown. He'd headbutt his foes with the contraption and then drop the leg on them for the 1-2-3. Seems like that'd be a disqualification. Hogan claims there was another reason for this monstrosity. In an interview with Wrestling Incorporated, Hogan would say, I came up with the helmet to try to come up with a way to kind of give the guys an out. Like if I put the helmet on, I cheated, I gave a headbutt on them or something, I thought maybe I could get them to do the 1-2-3. That's where the helmet originally came from, so the bad guys wouldn't be whining and crying because, the office wanted me to go over. So that's where the helmet came from originally. I don't think Vince likes it at all. I don't think anybody liked it except for me. Yeah, and that includes kids. A Red Ryder BB gun. This was not. Come the holidays, no kids were asking Santa for Hulkster's hideous headgear. Number 5, nothing but net. We've talked about this before, but a popular activity amongst wrestling fans is to look at an active tag team, try to figure out who's going to be the Shawn and who's going to be the Marty. And if those terms are unfamiliar to you, here's a quick summary. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty were a tag team in the late 80s and the early 90s known as the Rockers. The fast-paced, innovative tag team broke up in 1992 when Shawn famously superkicked Marty and then tossed him through a window in the barbershop talk show set. It was awesome. From there, the two would have, to put it lightly, very different journeys. Shawn Michaels would rocket to superstardom, evolving into the Heartbreak Kid and becoming one of the greatest WWE wrestlers of all time. He won multiple world titles, headlined WrestleManias, and became known for his legendary matches, charisma, and resilience. His career had its ups and downs, including a serious back injury that forced him into temporary retirement back in 1998, but he made a triumphant return in 2002 and had another incredible run before retiring in 2010. Now, Marty Jannetty, on the other hand, struggled to find that same level of success, though he had brief moments in the spotlight, winning the Intercontinental title and having some solid matches. His career was plagued by personal issues, backstage problems, and inconsistency. He bounced around several different promotions and made sporadic WWE appearances over the years, but never achieved the sustained success that Michaels did. Now, while both men were very talented, their post-split careers became the ultimate example of one partner soaring while the other faded into wrestling infamy. But a little-known fact is the outfits they wore during their first ever one-on-one match were the very first clue that we had as to where their careers would go. It was at the 1993 Royal Rumble where the duo squared off for the Intercontinental Championship. Michaels was wearing an early version of what would be his iconic gear, but instead of hearts and the Heartbreak Kid logo, he later incorporated into the look, he had various patches of striped shapes. And Jannetty has some kind of like horrific netting, I guess? It might be hard to tell from the photos. Those aren't stripes. It's like individual segments of loose-fitting yarn. It's almost like the Michelin Man. The outfit was so bad that Vince McMahon fired him the next day. Although, it's probably because there were rumors that Jannetty was inebriated during the match, but I bet the outfit didn't help his cause. Number 6. Soccer, I Hardly Know Her. Your old pal Singer Siete is a happily married fella these days, but back in my day, I did alright with the ladies. Maybe it's the way I put that slash across my sevens, makes me seem very refined. But I couldn't imagine dating Jade Cargill. She's such a perfect specimen, almost like she's a different species. From the moment she stepped onto the scene in AEW, she had just an undeniable presence and aura that made her feel larger than life, standing at 5'10" with a chiseled physique that looks like it was sculpted from marble. But it's not just her figure that makes her perfect, it's her ability to command attention, whether she's cutting a promo, dripping with confidence, or walking to the ring like she owns the entire arena. Cargill just exudes star power in a way that feels effortless. And her gear, amazing. Every time she steps in the ring, she looks like a real-life superhero. Her outfits are a perfect blend of power, style, high fashion, always making her feel like the biggest star in the room. And one of the coolest things about her gear that we haven't seen in WWE just yet is her love for cosplay-inspired looks. At AEW Revolution 2022, she turned heads with her incredible Jade from Mortal Kombat gear. She also rocked Storm from X-Men when she won the TBS title. Wow, where were you on that one, Marvel lawyers, when you were bugging Rey Mysterio? Oh, and she dressed up like She-Hulk with green body paint, just like Zoe Saldana in Guardians of the Galaxy. All right. Phew. Think of less sexy green people. Kermit the Frog, the Grinch, the Jolly Green Giant, the Green M&M. Oh, but look at those boots. But yeah, while her physique may be perfect, she's still relatively new to pro wrestling and, is bound to make some mistakes. Take, for instance, the time-tested act of using the local sports franchises to earn a cheap pop. During a European tour, Jade wore a Dortmund jersey during a match in Oberhausen in an effort to get the crowd on her side. Problem is, Oberhausen hates Dortmund, so instead she was soundly booed. I mean, come on, Jade. Everybody knows how the Obermann folks feel about Dorthausens, right? I don't know, maybe this is a good thing. Honestly, I think this mistake kind of humanizes her. Maybe if this thing with my wife doesn't work out, I'll give her a shot. Number 7, must have killed him. We talked about Shawn Michaels turning on Marty Jannetty earlier in the video, but pro wrestling has a long history of close allies becoming bitter enemies. Shawn would get his just desserts in 2008 when Chris Jericho destroyed the Heartbreak Kid, smashing his face into the very expensive Jeritron 5000. While they weren't a traditional tag team, they had developed mutual respect before Jericho's jealousy took over, leading to one of the WWE's most personal feuds. Then there's the aforementioned Seth Rollins and his betrayal of the Shield in 2014, where he smashed a steel chair into the backs of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Shield had dominated WWE together, but Rollins' turn, orchestrated by Triple H, broke the hearts of fans and sent all three men on their paths to superstardom. And while it's nice to have some kind of foreshadowing to these moments, sometimes they can just come out of nowhere, like what happened to poor Drew McIntyre before a Washington, D.C. house show match against his former 3MB buddy Jinder Mahal back in 2021. As Drew was preparing for the epic battle between former partners, he was betrayed by the very kilt he wore to the ring. Couldn't get the damn thing off. It was so bad that WWE commentator Byron Saxton had to hop into the ring and help him out. Embarrassing, yes, but he played it off well with a fun little shimmy. Fortunately, this was a minor blip between the two, and McIntyre and his kilt continue to work together to this day. Well, there's our list. Did we forget any other outfits that got wrestlers into trouble? If so, please leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and figure 4-leg lock that notification bell. Till next time, I'm Singer Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.